All right. Coming up right now, we have a telesales expert, Mr. Ryan Reynolds. He's an industry veteran and been tremendously successful. I've learned tons of stuff from him as far as how to produce, how to protect clients, how to dial. He actually taught me the confirmation code that everyone here at FFL uses. And just a tremendous asset. He's not been here for some time, but has recently joined due to the upside and opportunity he sees at FFL of the fact that he can have lead accessibility, high comp, and build an agency that people are going to be well taken care of and protected. Well, Ryan has done so well in the field that recently he's like, Grady, he's like, I'm coming over, but I'm going to try this virtual stuff. And I was like, dude, just don't tell anybody. Okay. and which was wrong with me. And now that we're at a point in time where we understand that people want to work from where they want to protect families nationwide. And in that period of time, he's nearly mastered it. Without further ado, I'm humbled and honored and grateful for him to come on. And he's going to basically, you could see it on the table. He's opened the playbook on how to do virtual telesales at an incredibly high level. So without further ado, let's give a round of applause for Mr. Ryan Reynolds.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, brother.
All right, guys. So I brought some notes, but is there any questions you want to ask me so far?
Do you prefer in-home or telesales? If you had choice and you could sit in front of a client or you've got a client appointment on the phone?
Yeah, I have this in my notes, but clients always going to be easier to sell for the simple fact
in front of them.
Yeah, because you can build that trust. You can personally connect with them. So it's always going to be easier, but the convenience factor of the telesales is pretty nice too. So I think they're both good. I wouldn't say one's better than the other. It's just kind of a trade up. So I'm going to kind of talk a lot about that stuff from this, but yeah, both are good.
Good. Well, now I wanted to preface that because people go, well, this or that. I'm like, you have to understand there's pros and cons to both.
And I got all the list of the pros and cons.
I'm going to stop talking and give the floor to you. All right.
Let's do it. If you have questions, let me know. But so the first thing I've learned is in telesales is that there's not one way to do it. I know a lot of guys are doing it a couple different ways. Obviously you can have a dial day, just like we do in the field, dial on Mondays, book your appointments for maybe Tuesday, Wednesday. That's what I do. And you can book it for your phone or you can book it for Zooms, right? I want to figure out how to do it the phone way. Just because I wanted to hang out in my, a t-shirt and some pajamas and be comfortable while I was doing it and not have to dress up. So I was like, I'm going to crack this code on the phone thing.
Hey,
but other people can do the Zoom. I do think that Zoom is going to build more trust because they can see your face. I did have a couple of times that people can't or kind of fighting it, don't trust me. I'll do a FaceTime call and I can see how that immediately gains trust. But I knew just telesales is going to be harder, but I wanted to crack the code on that for the freedom also that it gives you. So I'm going to kind of go over some of that stuff. So that's one way. Another way, I know some people doing it, they're very successful at it, is you can not have a schedule at all. You can dial when you don't have appointments and then book appointments whenever. So I know a guy that's writing 10K a week doing that as well. And so he just kind of dials and books if he needs a schedule appointment that day, maybe at 4 o'clock, that's fine. And then he dials whenever he doesn't have appointments. If he gets a no-show, he dials. So it's just kind of like a mix. For me, I have ADD, so I got to concentrate on one thing at a time. Otherwise, I'm too all over the place. You can ask my assistant. It's like if I'm texting, I'm like zoned out. So I need to have a structure. So that dial day and that run day kind of helps me out. The other way you can do it is you can try to sell right when they pick up. And I know a guy that's very successful at that. So they're not setting appointments at all. And the key to that one is going to be going into it right away, not asking if it's a good time, but you're basically just right when they pick up the phone, you're going right into your medical underwrite and acting like it's going to be a 10-minute call. We're just going into it. You're not asking for permission until they say, hey, I don't have time to talk. Maybe 15 minutes into it, then you can you can schedule the appointment that time. So there's lots of different ways to do it. Just like with presenting out in the field or the way we run it, it's just, you got to kind of try them all out and kind of see which one works best for you. I haven't tried those other two ways out right now. I'm just sticking to the booking appointments on Mondays and Thursdays and then running on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay. So that's it so there's no real one way. It's going to take some time. I was in the field for 10 years. I became great at it. I would say I was a 10 out of 10. I was awesome at it. When I came into doing phone sales the first week, I did 0. I sucked at it. It was like I was right back where I started in the field. It's like learning something brand new. So if you're going to transition into it, just know it's going to take some time. It took me probably like 2 weeks to really start getting the hang of it, getting the confidence on the phone. which is all that is. It's really just confidence, you know, and anything it's through repetition, it becomes easier. Right now, you know, I'm not Grady. You see how confident he is in his calls because he's done it a million times. I've done this like what, twice. So still a little nervous, right? But as I keep doing it, you know, I'm gonna get more confident. It's the same story, obviously, with this. So just give yourself a few weeks to a month to get better at it. And I still rate myself probably a 6 out of 10. I still there's a lot of adjustments, a lot of tweaks I keep on experiment with to fine tune it, getting better and better. The one thing I love that now this is out in the open is now we can all learn from each other more and take those pieces and keep evolving and getting better and better. So I think that's really cool. One thing I noticed is obviously when you're driving, the advantage you have is that you have this downtime where you can listen to podcasts, right? And whenever I was out in the field, when I was listening to music versus listening to a podcast on training, my numbers would go up, right? Because I was in the zone from listening to someone else do it. I've tried this a couple different ways, and I think this is literally, I've seen my numbers drop in half if I don't do this, but my numbers double if I do this.
Okay.
So because I don't have any downtime to be driving, listening to podcasts, I start every single morning listening to a video. And even if you've been doing this for 10 years, you think you know everything, and you're like, oh, there's nothing new I can learn. My system's working. It's not about learning something new. It's about watching someone that just killed it and is doing it, and set your mind up for the day that if this guy can do it, I can do it. Right. And that's the key to this business is, you know, the reason I switched to telesales is I knew there was people doing it. And yeah, I was failing the first couple of weeks, but I knew this guy could do it. So the only thing stopping me was me. Right. So I just had to readjust, keep trying and keep tweaking things. Okay. So watching a video every day is definitely going to change your mindset. I recommend that, making that part of your schedule. And you're going to have more time now because you're not driving all over the place. So just make it part of your schedule. 10 o'clock is when I watch my video. Okay. You don't need talent for sales, right? That's a key. It can be learned. I just know when I first started off, like I was the worst salesperson on the planet, worst dialer on the planet, scared to do it. But if you keep studying, keep practicing, you can get good at this. And it's the same thing with face-to-face as it is telesales. It's going to take you some time, but you can get good at it, just like anything else out there. Schedule when you run. Key to anything like this, we already know this, we talk about it all the time, but same thing for me is I have to be consistent, right? So my dialing schedule is 11 o'clock to 6 o'clock.
Okay.
On Mondays. And then my run time is 11 o'clock to 6 o'clock on Tuesdays. And I just make sure I stick to that schedule. If you're not consistent with buying leads every single week and having the same schedule every single week, you're just not going to see money. But consistency, I mean, consistency is going to be really huge for you too. Any questions on that stuff? Those are just some general tips.
No, I like those.
Zoom telesale advantage, you know, you can dress how you want. Kind of talked about that earlier. The backdrop advantage, you know, you can work outside, you can work in the pool, you can work while you're walking around. So a lot of times I'll be talking to someone making a sandwich, you know, because I just have my Bluetooth in, I can do that. So that's pretty cool. You can work anywhere in the world, right? Now you're remote. You want to go take a week vacation to Paris? Guess what? You can work out of the hotel room and still enjoy your vacation. So pretty cool. And also when you're doing no telesales, you can have your script, right? I mean, a lot of people struggle. It's an advantage when you're booking your appointments, right? You can have your script in front of you in case you mess up. But when you're in the in-home, right, you have to kind of memorize all that stuff. So the advantage of doing it over the phone is now you can have your script right next to you of how your opening goes, some good questions to ask, some trigger lines, and literally be looking at it in your presentation as well, which is pretty cool. So now you have a little cheat sheet while you're presenting as well as when you're dialing. So I think that's a huge advantage as well to kind of think of. There's no driving, right? You have no gas, no car maintenance, no hotels, you're home every night. That's nice. You're home every single night. You don't have to spend nights in hotels. The disadvantages though. So there's disadvantages, right? I've noticed that you have to spend about twice as much on leads.
Okay.
You're going to need more leads because of that trust factor. You know, face-to-face is still going to be king. You can get bigger premiums. Like you said earlier on the call today, they can't kick you out. They can't hang up the phone, right? They're going to be a little quicker to get off the phone with you. It's easier. Okay. But if you realize that we're running a business here, and I think a lot of times people come into this, they think of this as a job. It's not, it's a business. You're running your own company. So we got to look at this from the right perspective. If you think about normal businesses, the beautiful thing about, you know, where we're at now in this company is that the return on the investment average, I think company wise, probably about 500%, which is crazy. You know, my mom owns a shoe store and she has to spend $100,000 to make 160,000. So that's a 60% ROI. That's typically most businesses. I mean, most restaurants, when you Google it, it's average about 20%. So they're spending $1 million to make
200 grand.
200 grand. Yeah. So don't worry about if you want the convenience, the advantage factors of staying home, you are going to have to spend more. But again, it's going to be a wash at the end, right? You're still making the same amount of money at the end because you're going to need some more leads to make up for that trust factor. Okay.
Okay.
It's not a time saver. Okay. A lot of people are thinking, oh man, I'm gonna save so much time. You do have to book more appointments. You know, I used to go out in the field and book 12 a week and do really good. You know, here I'm having to do double the appointments to make up for some no-shows, to make up for the trust factors and so on and so forth. Okay. So you're still spending a lot of time, extra time dialing and extra time running appointments. So it's not going to save you a ton of time. Okay. So just know it's not like, oh man, I get to work half the time, make the same amount of money. Okay. All right. So that's good on that part. Let's go over the script though.
Okay.
And then I'll give you some more tips.
Is your phone script like to book
This
the
is the
appointment?
phone script, and I've rewritten it like a billion times. And, you know, with all scripts, all of them are good. You just got to kind of find the one that you like the best. And then I'll pause if I see something good in here and why I think it works well and what I've noticed.
How many appointments did you book? So using the
Probably
script,
about-
you booked how many?
About 25.
25 appointments. And how many did you actually sit on?
Probably about this week, probably like 18, maybe.
18. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you closed.
Probably like 70%.
Okay. You closed 70%. So how many, what was, so we'll get in this in a second.
75, maybe.
I just want to give some color, right?
Yeah, maybe
so what are we
75%.
spending? How many are we booking? Are we spending enough to get enough appointments?
Yeah.
Which is then it's at bats, right? I mean, it's all about at bats. How many appointments you book, how many at bats you have is how many potential hits, doubles, triples, and home runs you can hit. And so that's part of it. So you're setting yourself up by having, 25 appointments it's a standard run week. But at the same time, we're just doing it all through tele. But I do like how you're crystal clear. Like it's not like a time saver. Now you get to do it in your slippers and your t-shirt and your pajama pants while you're making a sandwich, which is, has its ups and downs. I wasn't that disciplined. I knew if I was home trying to run appointments, my wife would be like, hey, you hold the baby for a minute. And I'd be like, well, she's cute. All right, I'll hold her. And then now I'm not dialing. But like for some of us, they lack that discipline where leaving the house creates I left the house, the door's closed. I'm wearing a polo. I got my lanyard on and I got to work, so we're like pulling back the curtain and giving all the truths today. So 25 appointments. Let's hear the script.
Yeah. And then I'll give you some kind of tricks and advantages on that script too. But
Awesome.
So today you're going to be Yvonne. You told me to bring in a lead. This can be a mortgage protection lead, obviously. So I want you to talk in a high voice like a girl.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so we can have some fun. So you're Yvonne.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Blonde hair, beautiful girl. Okay. And you can do it on mortgage protection mailers. The same thing about the leads is if you're going to get mailers, they're just going to be higher quality because it took more time to fill out. So you can deal with the internet lead as well. Just requires more dial time, obviously. But we'll kind of practice as if it was a mortgage protection mailer.
Got it.
So that's about half of what I run right now. Okay.
All right.
So I'd say, hey, Yvonne, I'm Ryan. I'm calling about that mortgage protection information requested on your, I don't have the lead in front of me. On your movement mortgage loan. This is that mail you filled out and sent back to us. Talked about paying off your house in case of a death or illness. Just need to confirm your loan amount looks like $154,000. And it looks like your birthday is 8/21/83. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, great. Well, I can't go over this right now because we have other appointments scheduled today. But what time do you typically get home from work?
5.
About 5 o'clock. Okay. And then, so what triggered you to fill out this form and mail it back? What was your concern? What were you looking to get into?
I have kids and I wanted to make sure if something happened, the house gets paid off.
Okay, great. So it just sounds like you're looking for some protection in case things don't go according to plan, the house will be paid off, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a line that I added in that we usually do in the beginning of our opening, but I wanted to stop the no-shows. And so if I was giving them a reason for why they're having an appointment on the call, then I saw my no-shows go down. A lot of people do say this next one, I thought I had to.
Okay.
So if you want to say that.
I thought I had to.
Okay. And then I say it's not required. And I'm doing a pull away because I kind of, when we're booking appointments for face-to-face, we kind of want to book everything possible because we know we can knock on the door even if they forgot. But on the phone, I want to be really efficient with my time. So I can condense it down and make sure I can get all my appointments in 3 days and make a lot of money. So if they're not going to be there or they're not that interested, I don't want to book the appointment. So I'm almost kind of giving them like an out. And I also think that because I'm pulling back and not trying to giving them an out, I think they kind of trust me more. They're like, this must not be like a scam or something, because he's literally telling me I don't have to book an appointment. Why would a scammer do that? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going, it's not required, but I'm a medical field underwriter assigned to you to go over the plans you qualify for to pay off your house in case of death, illness, or disability. There are several different plans and options, and you can pick the one that fits your budget. That being said, and it's okay either way, is this protection you wanted on your house or not? Okay. Now it's kind of weird. That line, I thought when I wrote it that we'd get like 50% saying, no, it's okay. But we actually get a lot of people that say yes. So it's probably like maybe only 10% that say actually no. But that person that said no, if I would have booked it, he was going to no show me anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's taking up a valuable time slot away from another family that I could be helping. So I'd rather throw it away and get in front of the people that I can talk to than waste my time with no shows.
That's
okay.
Great.
Making sense?
Yeah.
All right. Then I'd say, okay. Then they'd say after 5 o'clock. Okay. Well, let me see what openings I have left. It looks like I have right now available tomorrow, which is going to be Friday. I do have a 6 o'clock or 7:30 available. What time works for you?
7:30.
Okay. And then is there any reason why you can think of now why you wouldn't be home at that time? Like you'd be driving, stop at the grocery store, or, anything like that you can think of? Are you always home at that time?
I'm home. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you're just required to be home. Just want to make sure. And I do see that there's only one name here on the form you filled out, sent back. Who is the house going to go to if you were to pass away?
My daughter.
Your daughter. Okay. Does she live with you at the house?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, since you guys are both live at the house, you're both required to be there. Does that time work for both of you guys? Will she be home there as well?
She's 8. So.
Oh, she's 8.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I should have looked at the age. All right. So if you do that for the older ones, you want to ask that for the daughters as well. But yeah. Okay. We guys both required to be there, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
All right. I just need you to grab a pen for that confirmation number. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right. It's 7W52. Expect to receive a call between 7:30 and 8, or around that time, between 7:30 and 8, in case my previous appointment goes late. Give yourself about 45 minutes for that phone appointment, in case you have some additional questions. Again, that's going to be on Friday, and that's going to be August 30th. And my name is Ryan Reynolds. Okay. And then after we're done with this call, I'm going to text you my credentials so you can go ahead and look me up and verify me. Okay. Now, can you go ahead and read all that back to me and make sure we have it correct?
75W2, Ryan Reynolds.
And then what was the arrival time?
7:30 on Friday.
Between 7. I'm sorry, not arrival time. Sorry. What was the call around going to be between 7:30 and 8? You got that written down?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, just give me that 30-minute window. And then can you add a reminder to your fridge or calendar or phone so you don't forget?
Sure.
Okay, great. Thanks for doing that. Well, we're looking forward to working with you and helping your family on Friday. Expect a call between, again, 7:30 and 8, and we'll talk to you then.
All right. Thank you.
That's it.
That's it. So it's super clean. It's just clean.
Yeah, and it has a spot if there's one name or two names.
And this will be on this is on the training website launching tomorrow, guys. So get ready for that. You'll see it tomorrow. So it's just, it's like a standard appointment we would book, but it's just, you're trying to get takeaways. Your goal is to eliminate no-shows. Our goal is efficiency, right? If you want to do virtual telesales, then you can't have half appointments. You can't, because like you said, if we know they're going to be home after 5, we can go door knock them at 8:30 and say, oh, I got the form, and we show up. Like we can do.
Right. Yeah. And texting the credentials, that's what's really important, is like I'd send a link, to whatever state it is. I'd send them my Connecticut state license, like an actual screenshot of it. And then also the link to look me up as well.
You'd give them a link?
And to link me up in the Department of Insurance for Connecticut or for New Hampshire, like direct them right to it. And then just tell them a lot of times on the phone, say, hey, I'm going to send you a link to verify me. Go ahead and look me up so you know who I am when I call. Okay. And I think that really helped out the no-shows too, because the biggest thing is about trust, right? Sometimes I'll send a picture of my driver's license as well.
Okay.
So anything that kind of get them to know that you're not a scammer, because that's the one thing that can mess up telesales is everyone thinks you're a scammer.
Sure.
So more things you can do to prove that you're going to be in a good boat. And then people aren't going to no-show. I think I was getting a lot of no-shows before because I wasn't doing that. People are like, I don't know, this guy might be a scammer. I don't want to answer the phone.
Sure.
So now I'm sending my credentials right when I'm off the phone. I think they trust me. And
It's
they
like you
keep
book an appointment with any, like someone that's coming to my house
Right.
tomorrow to like,
Right.
yeah, book an appointment. Do you do any sort of, do you use Calendly or any other sort of appointment booker reminder type software?
Yeah. So I use Calendly. And it's just nice because I book it myself.
Okay.
So never ever, I tried this method out. It's like, oh man, I can just text people and they're going to book the appointments themselves. No one ever did it. So use Calendly. It's kind of nice because you can just book it and go on there. And then if you have a meeting like today or whatever's going on, dentist appointment, or you're taking a day off, it's not going to show up in there. So it's really helpful for that. I'm going to go over some tips on that in a second.
Please.
So good tips for dialing. And I know I did a terrible job on that, just kind of reading it so you get an idea of the flow, but talk loud, never pause. Any kind of pauses, you're going to get objections coming in. Only stop talking with a question, right? Only stop questioning with a question. So never stop talking until you ask a question. That way you're controlling the conversation. And that's going to be either with a choice, right? Like, do you prefer 6:30 or 7:30? Right? Or it's going to be with a yes question. Like, is your birthday 6/21/81? I know that's a yes because it's written on the form, right?
Mm-hmm.
But try not to ask questions that can end with no's. Like, does Saturday work for you? No, right? So those are not going to be good questions. Any rebuttals I get, I literally just say, that's why I'm calling, go back to the script, right? I mean, you can look at this
It's excellent.
if you want. We can try it out. Like, watch this right here. So what triggered you out to fill out the form and mail it back? What was your concern?
I don't know. I thought I had to.
Yeah, that's actually why I'm calling. So what made you fill out the form and mail it back?
Got it. I don't know. It was interesting.
Say, how much does it cost?
How much does it cost?
That's actually why I'm calling. Let me see what times I have left. It looks like I have a 5.
Got it.
So you just say that every time. Any rebuttal?
Dude, these are just great.
That's why I'm calling. Literally go back to your script. And it really helped me out as I was training someone. And we have a lot of long-winded rebuttals written out, and they can be kind of, scary for someone that's new and dialing. And one time I was practicing with her and I was like, let's just try, that's why I'm calling. That's all you got to do. And then go right back to the script. And it worked every time. You can just ignore rebuttals, because I feel that clients literally throw out objections that I've learned over 10 years. Not because they want the answer to the objection. I think it's just to test you. To see if you're real or not, to see if you're a scammer or not, because I've had 90% of people that tell me don't have time to talk. I ignore the objection. They talk to me for 20 minutes. So that taught me right there that objection, you can just ignore it. And the same with all those objections, right? So anytime you give it more breath, you're just coming off needy. And especially when you're starting off anew, it's easy just to say, that's why I'm calling, go back to your script. You don't have to really think about any objections. And it will work every time, because you're basically saying, look, I'm going to get to it. That's what the purpose of the call is here. Quiet, and we're going to be okay. And that's coming off confident, right?
Yeah.
Not coming off needy, like, hey, I need to cater to you, which is what we don't want to be on the call, trying to convince somebody. We're just doing our job, right? So that one works really good. Some tips for booking. When I first started doing it, I was kind of booking them all over the place, but I would book like a couple on Thursday or whenever I possibly could. As soon as I was doing like early ones, like 8 o'clock in the morning, and then sometimes the late ones, I was just going insane. And as soon as I condensed my days to 3 days, where I did 11 o'clock to 6 o'clock, I was like, I'm only booking on Tuesday. I'm only booking on Wednesday, and I'm only booking on Friday. I'm not doing these little sporadic ones on Saturday, a couple here and there. And my numbers doubled. And I think the reason for that is because your mental state is better. If you have, and I've noticed that same thing out in the field, when I would dial on Mondays and just run Tuesday, Wednesdays, I did that forever. And I was making tons of money doing that instead of all over the place, because when you have 6 in a row, or in this case on the phone, which I'm getting to 10 in a row, the no's don't hurt as much, right? But if you have 2 no's and then 1 sale, it hurts. If you have a bunch of them and there's a no and then a yes, no, yes, you don't remember the no's, because just 3 yeses and you're like, okay, I did pretty good today.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't matter if you had 7 no's. So
yeah,
condensing them together seemed to skyrocket my numbers up.
Okay.
At least double it. So keep a schedule and just stick to it. And don't book on your dial days or your days off or whatever. Okay. 45-minute appointments. So this allowed me to condense my appointments into to book a lot in a window, so I could be more efficient with my time. So I would always book 45-minute appointments with a 30-minute call window, right? So I'd start at 11, and the next one would be 11:45. The next one would be at
12:30,
12:30, doing the math for me, right?
1:15 to
Exactly.
2:45.
And so now in 8 hours, I can fit 11 appointments. And if they all show up, that's great. I can get 11 appointments done, which in the field, in 8 hours, you might be able to get to 5, right? So you're getting double the appointments now by doing telesales, which is pretty cool. So more efficient with your time. And then I book on the West Coast. I'm on the West Coast and I dial on the East Coast. So now I can, if I get done by 6 p.m., it's actually 9 p.m. over there. And we know that the prime time, it's time slots are usually 5 to 9. So that's kind of the advantage. If you're on the West Coast and doing telesales, you don't have to work late. You're working late to 6 p.m. So that's kind of cool. I can spend some time with my family, do some more research on the agency, building a team, doing trainings, any of that kind of stuff. So take advantage of that time zone difference. And now in that prime time zone in the field, between 5 and 9, I can maybe get 3 appointments, right?
That's true.
And now I can get 6 appointments. Okay. A huge time zone if you want to do both, right? Maybe you get some leads on the West Coast and the East Coast. So for the East Coast, you dial from 2 to 6. That's going to be 5 to 9 over there, right? And then for the West Coast, you're running from 5 to 9. Now in 7 hours, you can fit 10 appointments, where normally in the field, you can only do 3 in those prime time hours of 5 to 9. So you don't have to work Saturdays anymore because you can fit 10. Let's just say you did East and West. You did it on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can run 30 appointments during prime time hours and not have to work a weekend. Weekends off. Pretty good. Pretty good.
I mean,
pretty good.
We work weekends, but
you could run. This is how someone could run 60 appointments a week doing this model. Mm-hmm. And what the key thing we need to make sure we're hearing though is 30 appointments. 30 appointments, 30 appointments. He's not saying I book 3, 25 plus 25 to 30 points. I don't book 3 on a day and then 2 don't show up and I get a no. Like that's how you go crazy in anything, in any business is the lack of setting yourself up, right? Of putting yourself in a position to have enough people come into your restaurant to buy enough burgers because you did enough advertising and et cetera. Like you're doing enough advertising from leads to booking appointments to setting yourself up to run both prime time. I mean, that's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating.
No, I
drop a F in the comments below if you're fascinated like I am right now, because I'm literally fascinated.
I personally used to drive out to Lake Havasu all the time, which is 3.5 hours, and I get home at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And right now I do stop at 6. It's been nice to eat, at 7 with my family and get some work done at night. But the advantage is, if I got some West Coast, you're making some more money there too. So it's
awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Or if you're on the East Coast, you wake up earlier. Right.
Yeah, exactly. You can just take advantage of those 2 time zones either way.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. So here's some tips on no-shows, right? So everybody I've talked to when it came to doing virtual sales, they were always getting no-shows. They're like, I don't know, I'm just getting 50% no-shows, 50% no-shows. Well, I got it down to about 25%, which is pretty cool. And it sounds kind of crazy, but here's the thing. Maybe it was part of that script, doing the takeaway, making sure I'm only booking appointments that are going to stick. Or that I think you're going to stick and not trying to push them into it, and doing that takeaway. And then also, when I tried Calendly before, and I tried so many different methods where I would send out, an email 4 days before, and then 2 days before, and a day before, and then 4 hours before the appointment, right before the appointment, and text messages, all this stuff, and have it automatically sent out from Calendly. None of my no-shows changed, still 50%. Okay. But then I just decided that, hey, why don't I just take that down to just one email and one text message with Calendly that sends it out right when I book it. One that books it, or one that's sent out 24 hours before, one email and one text message, which I actually think I might take away the email thing because it seems like I get cancels from the email. So I might actually, probably this week, I'm going to get rid of the email together because it seems like I get cancels.
Let us know how it works.
Yeah. And then I don't do anything else than that except for send a text. And it's really this simple. I just say this in the morning, every morning before I start my day. I just text them this. Just say basically, hey, Bob, it's Ryan, just confirming our phone appointment today. Expect a call around 3:30 or 4 from this number. That's it. It's so simple and easy.
With a picture of you or a picture of your license? Or
usually I'll send either a picture of me or a picture of my license. Or
a lanyard you ever used to wear that you could take a picture of and send a picture of your lanyard?
You could do that too. Yeah, that's actually a good idea too. Maybe a picture of you as well.
Okay.
But just keeping it nice, short, and simple. and easy to read. And that's what worked. And then my no-show rates went away.
Plummeted.
Literally went up to like some weeks I'm getting like 15% no-shows. That's crazy. It's just
is like standard if you're running appointments and showing houses.
Well, because when we were running them in the field, we never wanted to send a text in the morning because they would text us back and cancel right away, right? Because they don't want you showing up to the house. But those are the people that you're knocking on the door that we're going to cancel. Here, for some reason, when you're booking a phone appointment, those people that didn't want you showing up to the house are willing to do a phone appointment. So just give me a quick reminder. And because it's not coming from Calendly, which we get so many messages robotic from like the dentist or all these robotic messages, people just kind of look at it, can tell it's robotic and ignore it. But if it looks like it's coming from your phone, it's personal, then that seemed to work. Just that simple little phrase, and my no shows went down. Crazy.
That's awesome, dude.
Okay, so where we at? No shows on that. Another quick thing is when you're booking your appointments, we used to say expect a call between 3:30 and 4. And that was causing a lot of mistakes because they thought the call would start at 3:30 and end at 4. And so now the word we change it to is expect a call around 3:30 to 4. So use that around in here. You can see it says around instead of between. So that kind of helped on that. So we should have a 30-minute window because it's 45 minutes. I mean, if that appointment goes into an hour or an hour 15, that's okay because you have a 30-minute window. So it's all good. Call the next one. And sometimes you get so busy that you actually fall behind, you miss one, which is great. You just call the person up and reschedule it. Go, hey man, I got too busy, too many families I had to protect that day, and you can reschedule it. So awesome. Don't worry about it if you start running behind. All right. So then want to get in the presentation?
Yeah.
Okay. So the presentation, I've done my presentation opening, probably changed it up, I don't know, like 1,000 times. And honestly, I get so bored saying the same thing all the time that I always change it. I mean, literally 2 weeks ago, I think I heard Hayden's. You did a podcast with Hayden.
Stud.
Yeah, stud. And I just liked his opening. So I literally wrote it out word for word, stapled it on my on my bulletin board and just read it for 2 weeks just to have something different to say. And it worked every time. But the key is it's just 4 things you have to cover in every opening. And as you guys are watching, videos and training, these 4 things are in every single person's opening, whether it be, Hayden's, whether it be the heavy hitters, Julian, anybody that you see that's on there, you're going to cover these things. So the first thing is you got to cover trust. And I'd write these things down. Trust is number 1. Okay. You got to cover need, right? Why are you here? Why do they need to get this? You need to cover shopping, right? Why they don't need to shop anywhere else. And you need to cover qualify first. Okay. It's just going to stop to think about, right? So I just have these 4 words on my bulletin board and then I kind of freestyle. I just make sure I hit each one in my own way. And at first, when I was trying to write out a script and just read from it and see would Hayden's work better, would this work better, would this one's person's work better. And what started to work better was honestly just me having these 4 words up on because I was just sounding more natural and confident. I wasn't trying to read from a script. I was just being myself. And sometimes I could change it up depending on who I was talking to. So for trust, I would just say, hey, if we started this point and say, hey, Grady, calling you about that mortgage protection point we have. How's it going?
It's going well. How are
you? Good. And then is your daughter here? Let's pretend she's 18.
Sure. Yeah, she's in the other room.
Awesome. And what was her name?
Presley.
Okay. Can you go get her?
Presley, come here.
Okay. Hey, Presley, do you have me on speakerphone now?
Yeah.
Hey, Presley, how are you? Yeah, just required to be here so we can get this done. So I did send over to you last time we talked a copy of my license, and I'm just required to show you that. Were you able to look me up and verify me?
I didn't.
Okay. You want to give you a second to do that now?
No.
If you can click on the link, you can just look it up and make sure you know who I am.
Okay.
So I said it every time. So that's nail and trust.
Sure.
Right now they know. Now they can trust me. Need. So why'd you guys fill this out? What were you guys looking for? What kind of triggered you to do that?
I just wanted to make sure if something happened that she'd, something happened to me, she'd be able to keep the house.
Okay. Now that's a great line, but literally 80% of people don't say that. 80% of people, you got to dig in deep. They're going to say, oh, just looking into it. I don't know. I want to see what the prices were, something like that. So
just looking into it.
Okay. Why are you looking into it?
I just want to see what the prices were.
Okay. Why did you want to see what the prices were?
I think it's something I should probably get, but I don't know enough about it.
Okay. And then why do you think you might want to get it?
Because if something happens to me, I want to make sure that my daughter can keep the house.
Boom. Okay. So there you go. So you basically just keep asking questions over and over and over again until they have to answer that one solid question. Once they say it, then you're like, okay, great. So it sounds like to me what you want to get, and you're always reconfirming it. Sounds like why I'm here is in case something happens and it makes sense and it's affordable, right? That you want to make sure your daughter gets to keep the house because we don't know what tomorrow might bring. Are we on the same page?
Yeah. That
Okay.
sounds right.
So that's the need. Just keep asking questions and you're gonna get people that kind of keep avoiding it like he was doing. And then you just got to keep going. Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? Okay. And eventually they're going to answer.
It's just 3 minutes into the call.
Yeah. 3 minutes in the call.
Okay.
All right. So my job as a broker, now we're covering shopping because we don't want them to think they need to meet with 5 different agents, right? So we're cover shopping. So my job as a broker, allows me to actually shop about 30 A-rated companies. And we're going to look at the best of the best, like John Hancock, Aetna, Mutual of Omaha, names you've heard of. Okay. And they all rate you differently. So I'll look at all of those at the same time. And the advantage of that is, I don't work for one company that you're kind of stuck with like 3 products. We have 100, which we can make sure we can get you the best plan that actually fits your needs. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. And then what I'm going to do today is I'm going to be your medical field underwriter. Now we're in qualifying, right? Letting them know I have to qualify them first, right? So I'm your medical field underwriter. We're going to spend about 3 minutes on some health questions. And then all these policies are rated based on your health and age. Okay. So once I give you some plans in a second here, and it's going to be the exact cost, and they're going to range in kind of budget features. What we're going to do is pick a plan to protect the house, and everyone can find one that's in their budget. Okay. And then the insurance company is the one that's going to take the time to think about it, not you, because they're the ones taking the risk. If something happens to you tomorrow, they're the ones that have to pay out $100,000 or $200,000. And 10% of the time they say no. They say it's not worth the risk. We're not going to take you. If you get accepted, okay, you're going to have 30 days to make changes to it. If you want to change your plan up or down or around, that's okay. If for some reason you decide in that 30 days, hey, I have a crystal ball, I can predict the future, and the lotto numbers, you're going to give me a call too, so I can quit this job and we can be rich, then you don't have to keep the plan too. They're happy not to cover you. It's not going to affect me. It's not going to affect the insurance company. The only person it's going to affect is your daughter. Okay. So you can make that choice within that 30 days. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it doesn't make sense to think about something that we don't know we can get yet, right?
Correct.
So what we're doing today is seeing if we can qualify you and see if we can even get you coverage first.
Got it.
Are we on the same page?
Yeah.
Perfect. So that's the opening. Okay. Just like that. And you can say it in all the different ways. Just make sure. And there's so many beautiful lines out there. So what I would suggest is you go on YouTube. Maybe you don't connect with my style. Maybe you connect with this person's style. Start writing down some cool trust ones.
Okay.
What's building trust? What's building need? What's building shopping? Right? That I don't need to shop anymore. And what's building the I need to think about getting rid of that in the opening before you get to the end. I need to qualify you first. Okay. And then I would go through this medical sheet. And I have a form that I fill out literally on my desk that I just made. And it has some good questions up here, that I can ask in that need part. It says like, if you pass away tomorrow, what do you have in place today that would pay out to your daughter? Right? I'm going to find out the life insurance they have. What kind of income would your daughter be losing each month? If something happened. When it comes to protection, what's your biggest concern? If you got sick, disabled, you can't work anymore, how long can you maintain your bills for? These are great questions that you can ask. Okay?
Yeah.
So you can write all the advantage of the telesales. You can write all these questions out and have them right in front of you so you don't forget.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. But I think it always helps to kind of design your own presentation, because the way that you like to do it, or if you like someone else saying it, is you're going to sound more confident. And again, why I was so bad in the beginning was because I didn't have enough repetition to sound confident. So whatever you think you like someone else saying, you're probably gonna like saying it too.
Sure.
So I say just copy them. Okay. And just fill it all out. Get the medical, ask them, for mortgage protection. I always get the loan amount, right here, and go, okay, how much is your loan? How much is it appraised for? In 15 years, let's just say your loan's 200,000. In 15 years, are you going to pay that thing down, or is it going to be worth still 200,000 on loan?
I would pay it down some.
Well, how much do you think you'd pay it down to?
15 years. If it's $200,000 loan, probably 100,000.
Probably about 100,000. Now your loans, obviously the value of the house is probably going to go up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It always does. I bought a house in 2007, and then 2008, it dropped 100 grand. 13 years later, up 150. So it always goes up. How much do you think it's going to go up? You say in 15 years,
50 or 100,
50 or 100. Okay. So let's just say 75 in the middle.
Okay.
Okay. So it's worth 275. All right. and then you die and the house gets foreclosed on and you have $100,000 loan. Actually, it didn't say that way. I'll say it that way.
275. Okay.
Yeah. So if you sold your house in 15 years, right, for 275 and you paid off your loan of 100,000, how much do you have left?
175.
175,000, right?
Yeah.
So this is an asset that right now you have nothing, right? But in 15 years, you have $175,000 of coverage. Pretty impressive, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. Do you have a car?
I do.
Okay. Do you pay car insurance on it?
I do.
Is that an asset that goes down in value?
Yes.
Okay. Does your house go up in value?
Yes.
Is your house worth more than your car?
Yes.
Don't you think it makes sense to have insurance on your house?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So that's why we're here. Okay. Most people agree with you.
Got it.
So that's some stuff I do in that section right there.
Okay.
And it's always good to, engage and ask questions rather than statements. If you saw, I led him all the way through with questions and now he's paying attention. If I'm making statements, he's only listening to 50% I'm saying.
Okay.
Right. But if I'm engaging with questions, I'm controlling the conversation. Now he's engaged and he's listening and it becomes his idea and I'm a helper versus a salesman.
Got it.
Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then I just present the products. And then every single time I say this at the end, and this is literally from Paul McLean, this is the close. You just present the 3 options and I have it written, right at the bottom here. It says, we can't make a decision today because we don't know if you're going to qualify. But if you were to qualify, which one of these do you think makes the most sense, based on protection and affordability?
How do you show them the 3 options on?
I'm going to actually have some notes on that. So I'm going to get into it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to get into it. I got some tips on that too, because that's another key to getting to be good on the phone as well. All right. So some more tips. So tips, Paul McLean says right there. Oh, this is really good tip. This works out pretty good. Client says, we just don't make a decision today. We need to discuss it. I just go, okay, great. Just put me on mute. I'll be here. Let me know when you're ready. You just throw on mute. That's good. And then they come back and pick one. So that's good. So you don't have to call them back. Yeah, just go ahead. Oh, that's no worries. I'll give you guys about 10 minutes. If you need anything, I'll be right here to answer any questions. Just put me on mute and we'll be good to go.
How's that usually work out?
It works out great. I'd say probably 90% of the time they come back and pick one.
Okay.
And then 10% of the time, like, I decided not to do it. And then I'm going to be transitioned to an accidental, which I'm going to talk about in a second.
So show us how you present just because we're rolling.
Yeah, I'm going to in a second.
Cool.
All right. And then Google the bank account. So this is a really good tip as well. So when you get to the payment information, because you're on a telesale and you get to bank information, like, is it checking or savings? And then they go checking and you're like, all right, what's the bank name? And they tell you the bank name and like, what state did you open up in? And then you just Google that routing number. And then you go, okay, it looks like it's pulling up a routing number of 221-678173. And they're like, I'm not sure if that's it. I'm like, okay, can you go verify that? And then they have to go grab their checkbook. And then when it makes you get credibility as if a lot of the systems do pull it up anyways, good. Like Aetna does and some other carriers. So I just act like I'm already pulling it up if it's a carrier that doesn't do that. And then that way it gives me credibility that how would he know that? Like obviously has a system that's doing it and then getting that bank account information is pretty standard. Okay. And then for the bank account information, it is blacked out. I always say that. It is blacked out, so I can't see what I'm typing for security purposes. So it does make me put it in twice to make sure it matches, but go ahead with that account number. So I always say that every time to build some more security into it. Does that make sense for the bank account?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thought that was a good tip.
That is good. That is good.
All right. So presenting options. This is going to be the last part. The key to this, what I found is speed, right? Because I want to get it down to like 45 minutes so I can run as many appointments as possible a day at a more condensed time. So not all spread out, working 7 days a week. Okay. And simplicity, keeping it very simple. In the home, I can write down stuff and do visuals and all that kind of stuff. On the phone, if I give them too complicated of policies, there's going to be too much to think about.
Got it.
Okay. So I keep it extremely simple. So for example, let's just say on that last lead, it was 150,000.
Okay.
Actually, for purposes of this, it's to make it easier. We'll do a more complicated one. Let's do 300,000. Okay. So let's just say anyone that's 45 and below, I automatically go to the Americo CBO 100 every single time.
Okay.
45 and below. And I give them 2 options. I give the full amount of the house. So on the CBO 100, it would be 250,000 of full coverage, pay out if you have a natural cause, and then it'd be a $50,000 rider for the accidental rider. So I can go up to 300,000 because the max you can go on the CBO 100 is 250. Otherwise, it requires a swab test.
Correct.
Okay. So that's how I get to 300. So I present it like this. I go, okay, this first product, it's a really cool product. And also if they said they wanted to pay off their house early, then I always present the 25-year, right? Mm-hmm. Or if they don't have a lot of money, then I might present the 30 years. It's cheaper. But anyone that wants to pay off their house early or they're younger, I only pitch the 25-year. So I'll say, okay, so the way this plan works, grab a pen. It's going to be, we'll write these down actually, because I write it down with them as I'm talking. So I can make sure I'm going with the pace.
Okay.
I'm like, all right, cool. So write this down. It's going to be 300,000 if you die of an accident. Okay. So that making sense. And accidents are like from injury, the stuff you see in the news, still the fourth leading cause of death. So it does happen. Below that, we're going to write down 250,000 for natural causes. Natural causes. Okay. Got that down? It's going to be 250,000 for critical illness. Write down critical illness. And then 250,000 for chronic illness. Now, critical illness is huge to protect you while you're living. A lot of work policies don't include that. So if you get a heart attack, cancer, stroke, anything like that, you're going to have access to that 250,000 tax-free. That's so big. Yeah. If you can't show up to work, your money stops, right? And I talked to a widow one time where her husband had a work plan. He got cancer and he was out of work for 6 months and the policy got dropped and he died and they lost the house anyway. So if he would have had his private coverage right here and have this critical illness, they would have been able to survive, and stay in that house. So huge rider right there. And I tell that story every time. Okay. Chronic illness, 250,000. This is kind of like similar to long-term care, but it's if you need help with your daily living activities, 2 daily living activities. So that's huge. It goes for 25 years. And at the end of 25 years, you get 100% of your money back. Okay. Now, if someone gives you all your money back, what did that make the policy? Free. So basically it's a free protection plan. Is this making sense? Yeah. Okay. And then I'm going to add it up and I use a mortgage calculator a lot of times to figure out how much they owe left on their house. And I'd say, so this plan, it's, say it's $200 a month. At the end of that time, you're going to save up $50,000. And if anything ever happens to you during that savings account, during that time period, it's going to turn into 250,000 or 300,000. Is that a good deal?
That's a great deal.
And if you get all your money back, what did you pay for it?
Nothing. Free.
So the advantage of the 25-year one is that you actually get your money back and then you can use that money to cut your loan short by 5 years. And you save yourself 5 years of mortgage payments. So this plan right here, it's the Ferrari plan because it includes everything. It's hard to qualify for, so I don't know if you can get it, but it's 300,000, 250 again. And you repeat yourself a lot on this stuff because you got to say it 3 times to understand it. So 300,000 for accident, 250 natural causes, 250 for critical, 250 for chronic, 25-year, which that's all that protection. Pretty cool plan. That's number one. 2, cool. It's free.
It's very cool.
And the third pretty cool thing is that you get to save yourself 5 years of mortgage payments getting this plan. Okay. Now, does that plan make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, cool. So the second plan. So every single time when I give the second plan, I don't change anything at all about the first plan. I just reduce it in half. Okay. So it's simple. Once they understand one, the other one's the same. I don't want to go, this is a 25-year and this is a 30-year. This one comes with disability, not disability. It's too complicated. If they can understand one, it's pretty easy to understand that the coverage is reduced and the premiums are reduced. So I'd say, hey, this next plan's 300,000. It's 150,000 if you die of a natural causes, 150,000 for critical illness, 150,000 for chronic, 25 years. Here's the premium. This is how much you get back. Now we can't make a decision today, but which one of these makes the most sense based on protection and affordability?
Well, the bigger one.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can get you approved.
Okay.
That's it.
So 2 options.
That's it. That's for 45 and below.
Okay.
So 45 and below, I always pitch that cash back because it's cheap. I have all the options here. So let's see, 100% cash back, living benefits, pay off that early, disability. Oh, disability is cool too. So if you ask if someone wants disability, it's really cheap to add on, but then just keep disability in each plan. Don't take it away and add it. So if you're streamlining it and make it, only thing you're changing is the coverage amount, the premium, it makes it really easy for the client to make a choice.
It does.
Okay. 45 and above, Oh, and for life insurance too. So let's say you have a life insurance lead, pretty easy. Let's say you're making $100,000 a year. Then I would do 500,000 and then 300,000. Hey, this replaces that income if you get sick or you die for your family. So they have 5 years to adjust to their income. For 500,000, I do a 250 and a 250 to rider and make it 500. And then I would do a 300,000, do a 150, 150.
Got it.
And that's for the life insurance. So you just reduce it down, right? And then if that one's too expensive, reduce it down again, 200 to 100. So you're keeping everything the same. You just keep reducing it. So it's really simple and easy to understand. Make sense?
That does. That's awesome.
Okay. 45 and above, I do John Hancock. And again, I only give them 2 options. The advantage of that one is I don't do any return of premium because they're 45 and above, or if they're smokers, I'll go John Hancock and do not return a premium, keep the premium low. And then it's an easy e-app, takes 8 minutes. So that's a huge advantage.
Wow.
So it saves you a lot of time. So you can be fast. It's instant decision. So there's no more admin work. You're like, hey, you're approved, good to go. I text them my phone number, my contact, hey, call me if you need anything, and it's done.
That's awesome.
No more contact anymore. It pays full commission. This is big. All these products that I try to write pay me full commission. So CBO 100, full comp payout. John Hancock, full comp payout. For anyone older, I go with Aetna because it's full commission, right? Usually when you're writing out in the field, most whole lives or final expenses drop about 15 points. So pretty cool that Aetna pays you full commission. And it pays you full commission on modified. I was talking to one of my agents today that wrote an Eagle, graded policy, modified's graded, and it dropped like 70 points or 60 points or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, we don't sell that product. We shouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you can just stick with Aetna all the time, even if you have to do modified, it's still price good and you get paid full commission. And
Sure.
It's no brainer. There's no signatures, right? So you don't have to do any email signatures to the client. So fast and easy. Especially for elderly people that don't know how to use a computer, no signatures is awesome, right?
How does it work?
You just fill it out, and then there's 2 options. You can email it, or you can ask a security question.
Perfect.
So you just ask a security question, boom, done. Same thing with John Hancock, no signatures. So super fast, no email it, open it up, nothing like that. So that's pretty cool. And they have a lot of conditions. So they have a standard and they have a preferred on that. So you can get people covered with like COPD standard, which a lot of people are going to rate you for, and all different kinds of things. So if you just look at that, guide chart, underwriting genie, I just love Aetna. And then there's mutual Volma guaranteed advantage. That's the accidentals. And I always try to add that on as like kind of like a writer. I go, and you do qualify for the $500,000 plan with mutual Volma. It's an accidental. You can get that because you got this. And so a lot of time, $500,000 just sounds really good, right?
It does.
So would you like to add on a $500,000? It's only $64. So you can start writing that one. That one's really cool because it's a short, easy app, right? It's good for, people in their 50s and 60s that maybe are not making a lot of income. So we know they can't afford full coverage. And if I tell them, hey, you can get a $10,000 plan for this, and you're like, I'm not going to get a $10,000 plan. But you tell them an accidental, like, oh, $500,000, you cover both of us for $70.
I'll push you out the car, Harry.
Yeah. So if you have people there in their 50s or 60s, low income or unhealthy, usually I'll just go straight to an accidental because you can get a lot of coverage and it just sounds good on paper and it does protect them. They could die of an accident. So, and it's great. This app's great because you can do a husband and wife on the same app. So it saves you time, speed, right? Get more appointments done in a day. It's a short app. Everyone's approved. So no admin work. In some states, they have return of premium. So it makes it a no brainer. Like, hey, what is it again? Free. Oh, okay. What do you think about? Doesn't make any sense.
That's good.
Okay. And then American Amicable. This is the other products I write for if people get declined. If I get a decline on CBO 100, which does happen 10% of the time, I don't know why, I'm doing the underwrite, or a John Hancock, I'll switch them over to the Home Protector on American Amicable.
Okay. It
pays full commission, which is great. The app is easy. I'm always looking for easy e-apps, super fast e-apps.
The client and time.
The CBO 100 is not as easy, but just gives the most value and it sounds great. Okay. But all the rest of these are super fast. So just one signature, it's easy for the client. And about a third of them that get declined on CBO 100 get approved on this one. And same with John Hancock. Same thing. If I get declined on Aetna, then I'll go with the senior choice with American Amicable because they have their underwriting is a little more lenient and they allow the agent to attach a letter explaining the situation so it can get approved. So you don't have to get a doctor's note or anything.
You're like a Underwriting. You're an underwriting genie.
So those are, yeah, I don't want to do the underwriting genie though.
No.
But those are the products. So you keep it simple. You don't have to go crazy. Just 45 and below, take them this, 45 and above, take this, 50, do this, and then add on mutual volume accidentals.
And how do you close the sale? So they pick it, they go through it, app's done. Like, what are your final cementing words and statements, and then business processes? What happens beyond the close?
After they got approved, I just go, congratulations, you got approved. What I do need to do is ask for referrals more. I'm kind of weak at that. So I need to put again something big on my bulletin board that reminds me to ask for referrals. So I should do that better, but it's just, hey, congratulations, you got approved. In that time while we're waiting for it to get approved, I've texted my phone number. Hey, make sure you save that. If you need anything at all, please reach out anytime. If you know anybody at all that could use this kind of protection, I specialize in mortgage protection, final expense, life insurance. Just let me know and call me anytime. Okay. So congrats.
That's it.
That's it. Have a good day. See you later.
Wow. Let's that was A to Z, man. That was A to Z.
Yeah.
Ryan, this is exceptional. I'd love any final thoughts you have or final thoughts, advice, anything that, I mean, I don't even know if you could have missed anything. You killed it, dude. But that was,
yeah, I was up taking notes because I'm very forgetful. And I was like, if I don't write this down, I'm gonna forget. But no, I think just take time and practice, guys. It's not rocket science. It is going to be a struggle. It's going to be hard, but it can be learned. Not like I don't have a talent for sales, but I do have a talent for studying and perseverance and going, if this guy can do it, then I can do it. So that's really all it is, you know?
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, if this was helpful, drop an R for Ryan Reynolds in the comments below. Show him some love and appreciation. He put a lot of time. You put a lot of time, effort, energy into this. Rate this, and this is all on the new website launching tomorrow. If you're watching this now, you're probably on the website. And this is a goal that FFL. I mean, FFL dominates all in-home presentations in every way, shape, or form. And now we're going to dominate all virtual sales, and that's going to be on the shoulders of great producers like Ryan and many others that are sharing their tips and secrets on how they do it at a very, very high level.
And we're just going to get better and better, which is really cool. So I'm going to keep tweaking, trying new things. I mean, I would love to get my no-show rate to 10%. So I'm still working on that.
It's awesome, man. Well, thank you. Appreciate you coming on.